All right, let's learn to play the solo mode for Denizens the Hero War. Go ahead and shuffle up, separate out the factions as normal. Get the starting cards in their different piles. Shuffle up the two piles. For this example, the human player, we are going to play as the Riverwide Alliance, and we'll have the bot be the Nolgador. This works for either faction. The bot plays the same except for this italicized text here, which I will get to. This is the pamphlet. It has all the solo rules. One thing that I maybe shouldn't assume, but I was really constrained by the component limitations. It says do setup as normal. One thing that I didn't include in the setup instructions, though, is the bot's just going to pick its random starting location. So go ahead and deal the bot 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. 2, 3. We're going to act as the human, though, so we follow human rules. So we're going to draw our 3. Since we're the Nolgador, you abide the normal who goes first rules. So since we're the Nolgador player, we're going to go ahead and place the primary location first, and then draw 3 more cards to fill out our starting hand. I'm going to leave those face up so that we remember we are human. And then the bot player, again, I don't think I put this in the rules, and I shouldn't assume, but I'm going to leave the hand face down. That I know I did put in the rules. Leave the bot's hand face down, and then draw a random location. Now, since we're the Riverwide, we're going to go first. The only new rule, well, the only new mechanic, I guess, is the surge mechanic, where if the flowchart tells you to surge for the bot, it means play everything the bot has, including from its exhaust row, so that's new. Like, you can't do that in the normal game. But the bot is going to play all the cards from it's going to empty its exhaust row from left to right. And so when you're exhausting cards for the bot during the round, make sure that you're exhausting from left to right. So it's going to play cards from left to right from its exhaust row, and then finally play the revealed card. Otherwise, on the bot's turn, and I believe the Nolgador go first. So yeah, so we'll reveal a card from hand. The bot has a hand of 5 right here. So we'll just reveal a random card, and based on whatever this card is, we're going to decide what to do with it. So it's a 2/1 army, and it has that special ability text. Now, a special ability text, that part is in the rules, I know. The bot's not going to take any actions that require you to make a decision for it. So it's going to skip actions, free actions, and restrictions. So that's important too. The bot doesn't abide restrictions. I know both teams have cards that may only be played in the secondary theater or whatever. You can ignore those for the bot. The bot can play anything, anywhere, anytime. What it will abide, though, is stuff like this, passive things that give it a boost. So if you have exactly 1 commander in play, this card has +1 attack and +1 defense. Otherwise, it has -1. This doesn't require a decision on the part of the player. It's just a passive boost or negative. So go ahead and use that in your calculations. But anything that requires it to think other than what's in this flowchart, don't have to worry about it. Okay, so we'll just go through an example here, and then I'll run through all of the different possibilities. Essentially, you start from the top left here. Did the player disengage? If it's a yes, you follow the green arrow, typically to the right. If it's a no, you follow the red arrow. And you can see there's these endpoints that don't have arrows coming from it. Like, you could end here with pass, you could end here with disengage, you could end here with surge, you could end here with play, and you could end here with exhaust revealed card. That's like the bot could find nothing useful to do with the card, or no, that's basically what it means. And then it's going to start building up in its exhaust row, which is going to empower those surge effects later. So let's just look at this card. We've got a 2/1 army. We'll run through this. Did the player disengage? The answer is no. Now, is the bot going to disengage? These questions are posed to the bot. If any of these are true, it's going to go ahead and call it a yes if we answer yes to any of those questions. So, sorry for bumping my camera. Hopefully that stops spinning. So A, does the bot have one card in hand? Well, no, I actually have 5 cards in hand. So I've got the 4 here plus the 1 I just revealed. This is still considered in its hand. So nope. Is the bot winning both theaters? What's important here is the bot does need to be able to legally disengage. And remember, you can't disengage unless both players have played a card at least. So the bot couldn't disengage right now anyway based on that. So just keep that in mind with this point B here. Is the bot winning both theaters? Because technically the bot is winning this theater because it's a Nol Gador location. It's the defending faction. So it is winning this one, but it's losing that one. Is the bot leading a theater by 5 or more? Point C there. Definitely not. We don't have any attack out there, any strength. Okay, so that's a no. We go down to surge. Should the bot surge? Is the answer yes to any of these things? To the primary theater if it prevents the player from getting the greater VP value. Actually, this is kind of pointless to go through these at this point because the bot can't surge. It has nothing down here to surge with. It has nothing in its exhaust row. The only thing it could potentially do with this card is play. So for this example, we'll skip the surge, and that sends us over to this play. Is the bot going to play the card? Would it put the bot ahead in a theater they are losing? Well, yes, because it has... Without a commander in play, this is going to have a 1-1 stat line here. So actually, it's not going to put it ahead. That's funny. So it could play into this theater, which it's currently losing, but since it just has the 1 attack, that's canceled out by the 1 defense in the primary theater. So it actually would lose that tie. So playing this card wouldn't actually put the bot ahead there. So, and the bot is already winning that theater. So point 2 there, would it put the bot up by 4 or more in the primary theater? Definitely not. Would it prevent the player, the human, us, from getting the greater VP value in the primary theater? So the same rules apply with that. Who's getting the greater VP value? Or whether a player is getting the greater or lesser VP value. You get the greater VP value, as a reminder, if it's uncontested, so you're the only one who has cards in that theater. And you're winning the theater, because remember, some theaters have built-in defense bonus, or if your win margin is 4 or more. So would it prevent the player from getting the greater VP value? No, because that's not, they don't have any cards out there yet. So we finally exhaust the revealed card. Well, that's easy, so we're just going to put that in its exhaust row on the left. And then we would take our turn and probably do a thing, and then the bot would reveal another card and take a turn here. Now, if the bot follows that flowchart and it's called to surge, let's say it's called to surge to the secondary theater based on the flowchart. We have the revealed card and we have 1 exhausted card here. So we're going to start with the exhausted card. We'll empty that. We would play any more from left to right into this column, and then we're going to end with the revealed card and put it into that column, and then total things up. And hopefully use our little shards to track that total. Okay, hopefully that example of a turn makes sense, but let's just make sure that you guys understand everything that this flowchart is asking you to do. So, did the player disengage? Well, let's pretend yes. Let's pretend we were the player and we loaded a location. So we disengaged. Now basically the bot has to decide whether it wants to take a final turn. And remember, to do that, if you want to take that final turn after the other player disengages, you have to first exhaust a card, and that's true for the bot player. So it will exhaust a random card from hand or from the top of the deck if it doesn't have any left in hand in order to play a final card. And if it's not able to exhaust a card and then play a card, it just won't. It'll have to pass. So, would surging or playing cause the bot to win a theater? That seems self-explanatory. So if it were to surge, or if it can't surge, if it were to play the only card it had left, would it cause the bot to win a theater that it's currently losing? That seems pretty simple. Point 2, cause the bot to get the greater VP value of the primary theater. So again, those two reasons that it would get the greater VP value. If, let's say that we as the river-wide player, the human, didn't have any cards in there, well, yes, exhausting and then playing a card into the primary theater as the bot would make that an uncontested battle, and the bot could potentially would win that, depending on obviously the built-in defense, or if it would give them a margin of victory of 4 or more. Okay, and would it prevent the player from getting the greater VP value of the primary theater? So not only will it do that for a positive outcome in terms of getting the greater VP value, but it will do that to prevent a positive outcome for you. So if that would take you down to a lesser margin of victory, the bot has built-in intelligence to prevent that from happening, so it doesn't just let you get away with a runaway victory there. So if yes to any of those, whichever one you start from the top, whichever one triggered that to happen, then you play it to the appropriate theater. So you surge if it can, or play. So surge, if it has anything in the exhaust row, you go ahead and do that, and then play the revealed card, or just play the revealed card if that's all it has. Okay, that seems to make sense. If the answer is no to any of those, the bot's not going to waste its effort and it's going to pass instead of exhausting to play that final card. Okay, but if the human player didn't disengage, we decide, is the bot going to disengage? And remember, it has to abide the normal rule of it has to be able to there has to be at least a card played by each player. It won't just disengage right off the bat. Okay, does the bot have 1 card in hand? So that's literally if it has just the last card, it has 1 card left in hand and you reveal that. This means 1 card in hand. So if it has 1 card in hand, it has to abide those normal rules. It's going to have to load that as the next theater. It's going to have to disengage with that. That's the same rule as for humans. Is the bot winning both theaters? That makes sense because theoretically, the bot feels safe that it's not going to all of a sudden lose both theaters. So as long recommend that strategy if you're a human. If you're winning both theaters, probably a good time to disengage, because then you get the benefit of the loaded location in addition to hopefully winning at least one of those theaters, even if the other player plays again. And is the bot leading a theater by 5 or more? It feels comfortable with its margin of victory. If any of those are true, then it's going to disengage. And it's going to disengage with the revealed card as the loaded location. Okay, if none of those are true, you go, is the bot going to surge? Well, first prerequisite is, does the bot have anything in its exhaust row to be able to surge? If not, then it's just a play action. So then just kind of zip over there right away. But the bot will surge to the primary theater if it prevents the player from getting the greater VP value. That seems to make sense. It'll surge to the secondary theater if it would put the bot up by 3 or more there. Okay, that makes sense. And remember, when you're surging, you account for, you're putting the cards from your exhaust row into your column in that theater in addition to the revealed cards. So you have to, when you're running calculations for this, you have to account for all of that. Don't just account for if you put the revealed card in there, because with surge it's more than that. You get all of these cards too. So make sure you include those in your calculation when you're deciding if it's going to qualify here. Point 3 there, to the primary theater if it would put the bot up by 4 or more in the primary theater. Okay, a little bit higher of a threshold there. And then to the primary theater if the bot has 2 cards in hand. That's like, that's making sure the bot doesn't sit on its exhaust row too long. So if it has just 2 cards left in its hand, so if this was the situation, this was the bot's hand, I reveal one of them, and I had the capability to surge because I had something in my exhaust row, it's going to go ahead and do this now. Because next round, it's going to have to disengage because it has just the 1 card left. And it doesn't want that to happen. It doesn't want to be sitting on a possible advantageous move there and let it get pulled out from under him. So as soon as you answer yes to one of these, you go ahead and surge in response to whatever point you answered yes to. Okay, if it can't do any of those, or if the answer is no, should the bot play? Okay, would playing the card, and remember play is just reveal the card and play this card. Would it put the bot ahead in a theater they're losing? That makes sense. Would it put the bot up by 4 or more in the primary theater? Or would it prevent the player from getting the greater VP value in the primary theater? Okay, if you answered yes to any of those, play it to the relevant theater based on which one you answered yes to. So that shouldn't give you any trouble. If there is a tie, though, like you could play a card and in both of those it would be the decisive card in terms of putting the bot ahead. So if you do need to break a tie between which theater to play it into, you break it in this priority order. You play it into a bot's theater. So in this case, that's a blue theater, that's a red theater. The bot is red. It would play into the red theater. But if both of them are red or both of them are blue and that doesn't break the tie, then it defaults to playing it into the secondary theater. Okay, but if you didn't get to answer yes to any of those as the bot, then you go ahead and exhaust the revealed card, which is just putting it into your exhaust row. And then that's the bot's whole turn. At the end of the game, you just tally up scores like normal. One nuance here. Okay, when the human player exhausts during the recruit step, put cards into your exhaust row, the human exhaust row, left to right, beginning with the bottom card in the primary theater and alternating with the secondary theater. And then the only difference between bot behavior based on faction is the bot recruits from left to right. If it's Nulgador, and if it's Riverwide, it recruits from right to left. There's a method behind that madness in terms of the strategies that make sense. The bots are gonna... I won't go into that, but there's certain things that each faction kind of could look for in terms of viable strategic builds in terms of their deck construction. So I tried to account for that a little bit, and the only difference in gameplay is which direction the bots recruit from. So, if you're recruiting just one card for the bot, then it's going to pick from the end. If you're recruiting two, it's going to take the two on the end. One additional thing that I'm also realizing is not in the rules is the bot, if it can, it's always going to choose to enlist rather than occupy if it wins that secondary theater. Which means it's going to get that extra recruitment. That's the point of the enlist. If it can't enlist, or if, let's just say that there's not enough of the opponent's cards to be able to recruit to, then it would occupy and it would keep the first card that it played into the theater in that theater and then exhaust the rest. Okay, cool. Yeah, other than those couple of finer points that I realized I failed to have room for in here, everything should be in here. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.